I heard that. I heard that like on a podcast.
Did I tell you that I actually used to think that boys had 3 testicles? Rise and shine, bitches. Welcome back to another episode of Just a Quick Pinch. Welcome to your Friday episode. Today we are doing what's called Chief Complaints. I have Jimmy here, my fellow Hippocratic Oath.
I don't know why we have multiple chief complaints. The logic doesn't quite work. Usually you only get one.
Alrighty, chief complaint number 1. How do you communicate your workload and stresses with your partner, especially if you're dating someone that's either not in healthcare or they could be, but they just don't understand the rigorous schedule that you may have? So I feel like this kind of actually like in some ways does apply to us to a certain degree because like Jimmy and I obviously are in different phases of our lives, you guys. Like Jimmy is a working adult. He's had a stable healthcare job. He is a clinical psych pharmacist for anyone that's new here. But you've been doing the whole adult working thing like all of while I've been in dental school. So there have been a lot of times I feel like where I've been like, oh, I can't hang out on the weekend because I have to practice, I have to study.
So it sounds like, did you ask this question? No. I think you asked this question.
Listen, we can submit.
Are we trying to just air this out on like live?
So Jimmy, what do you think has helped at least like change your perspective? Because there have definitely been times where I've been like, no, I need to study, and you've been like, no, you don't. What was it? Did I explain something to you a certain way that made you understand why I care so much?
I think part of it was maybe you eventually kind of explained, but I think part of it was just realizing like, I don't think I really understood like the whole you needing to go into lab to practice on the weekend. That, you know, I think at one point I thought you were just time managing poorly to
yes, that was Jimmy's favorite
it,
thing to say second year.
Yeah, well, you know.
I mean, like, no, I totally could have been managing my time.
Maybe a little bit of that could have been changed. I think it was just a hard thing to go from both of us kind of being in school or a training program to one of us just working, you know, 40 hours a week and not having any additional expectations upon them other than that. And I think what helped is just being very clear about when you have time to hang out, because I think once you started doing that, it was a little bit better. I think something that you struggled with was telling me in a timely fashion when you had things to do.
Right.
And you still struggle with this to this day. But you're better at it. You know, we used a calendar for a while. We don't update the calendar very often.
It was the month of like April for like 6 consecutive months.
But I think just have it like even, you know, every night before we go to bed, we have a chat about what our plans are for the next day. I don't listen about 75% of the time.
See, that's part of the problem. That is part of the problem, and I got it on camera. I think what changed the game for Jimmy and I, kind of like what he was saying, but also from my perspective now, I think you just have to explain to your partner and have them understand that they can't possibly understand. Because I feel like if you go down the rabbit hole of trying too hard to make your partner understand, like, they're just not going to, because they didn't go into that profession for a reason. They didn't choose to do like all of this for a reason, and like, I feel like in general, we spend a lot of energy, even with patients, for example, in clinic, we spend a lot of energy trying to get people to come onto the same page as us, when that energy is better used instead creating a solution. So yeah, I think as much as it sucks to have someone that you feel like they sometimes don't understand the rigors of your schedule and like the seriousness that you have to live your life, that frustration is kind of goes both ways, because you feel frustrated that they don't understand, but that's kind of also sometimes on you for feeling frustrated, because not everyone has to feel the same way or understand. Yeah. But I mean, I totally empathize. I went through the exact same thing. I felt like, sorry, I have a hair in my...
Oh, let's keep that in. This
I really wouldn't wish this.
Least favorite thing.
No, but yeah, I like totally empathize with you. That's something that I didn't really realize would happen, because I mean, I even have, like, Jimmy's in healthcare. Like, to some extent he does understand, but I do think like every niche in healthcare even is different, and especially it must be extra hard with someone that isn't in healthcare and doesn't necessarily understand that. I think big picture, if they really care about you at the end of the day and they care about you feeling fulfilled and achieving your goals, that's also another thing. I share my highs with Jimmy also, so he kind of sees the moments where I'm really excited about what I'm doing, and like I think he doesn't want to take that away. Is that part of it?
Sure. I think it's just more that you're doing your thing. Yeah, I guess I don't want to take anything away from you. I just want you to chase your dreams, and I'm there. I just don't want to be left by the wayside. Yeah. I don't think I am.
I hesitate to say rigorous, because pharmacy school was like very much so rigorous. I don't want it to make it seem like it wasn't. It's just rigorous in a different way. Like I would be out at school until like 10 p.m. I didn't do that in pharmacy school.
Yeah, I think it's just that the times that you were able to go practice the different procedures and stuff were at either weekends or late at night. So it kind of threw off it just made our schedules not in alignment.
You know what really comes into play with this is love languages. Because, you know, hearing Jimmy talk about this, I realized part of something that we've had to go through is like having different love languages. One of Jimmy's love languages is like, what is it called? Like time spent together, whichever one that one is.
Do you not like time spent together?
And like my love language is acts of service. For me, like my love language is if I'm coming home from a busy day and Jimmy like helps me heat up dinner. Like that's like something that really helps me a lot.
Or I pick you up from clinic.
Oh, I love that. That's like my love, like this ballad. So I think that figuring out what your partner's love language is and what yours is will also help with this, because if your partner's love language is time spent together or whatever that one is called, then that's probably a big part of why this is such a conflict too. Okay, question number 2. How do you tell someone that they're being unprofessional in a professional manner? I like love this question because it's kind of funny to think about.
Without any context, it's hard to talk in abstract.
I do feel like if you're in a setting where there's someone higher up, it's like if you're at a school and there's a higher up like professor, teacher, if you're at work and there's like a higher up boss, I feel like one thing is there's always going to be powers and numbers. So if you're not the only one that's feeling this way, that you're feeling like you're dealing with someone that's being unprofessional or like affecting your quality of life at school or work, then I think it's like very fair, even if no one else actually feels the same way. I think it's very fair to feel the way that you're feeling, but I think one of the powerful ways to get change is to have like that numbers. So if you have like a coworker or a fellow student that feels the same way as you, you can bring that to the attention of like the higher ups.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't directly approach someone and tell them they're being unprofessional. I guess I'm not confrontational like that, and I don't know if that really gets to the bottom of the issue. So I really do think kind of, in the work setting, like talking to, your supervisor, if you're having frustrations and it's affecting your work, if it's not directly affecting you, it's something that, I think you should ask yourself like, oh, okay, why does this bother you? If you can kind of figure out the answer to that, it might not bother you as much anymore too. If you don't want to conduct yourself that way, then, be the professional that you'd like to be. And if other people... If
anything, you'll stand out more against them.
Right. Don't let thoughts like that occupy your mind rent-free.
Oh my god, wait, did I teach you that? I think I taught you that.
Everyone knows that.
Okay, well, I feel like I taught him that. That's that phrase. But kind of to echo what Jimmy said too, whenever someone at school or something at school is like really bothering me, whether it's intentional or not, something that I always keep in mind is you cannot let them get to you, because if you did, then they won. And as someone that hates to lose, I refuse to let something else or someone else win. So you know what, if they're bothering you, or like for whatever reason, if something else, it doesn't even have to be a person. If there's a situation that's bothering you, like see that as a chance to rise above it and beat it and not let it get to you, because that is how you win.
I don't think this is a winner or loser situation.
No, I know, but here's the thing, is it's your time at stake. It's your like educational experience, or it's your work experience. Like, do not let anything or anyone else take away like your opportunity. Like, make the most of your opportunity there.
You want to get the most out of your experience, but everyone's gonna kind of do their own thing, and I think that's just important to think about that.
Yeah, because like you can only control so much, like you're gonna go into like some other environment, someone else could be a certain way, and it's almost like so detrimental to you to let yourself get so spun out of sorts by letting other people affect you. I did an episode, actually, it kind of reminds me about, the episode was titled Becoming Unshakable, and I think that's such a powerful thing, becoming unshakable, whether in school or the workforce, because that way when you get negative experiences, negative comments from people, negative situations, becoming unshakable is good because it doesn't affect you as much. But for anyone listening, that's a good episode. You guys should look into it. It's from like a couple months back.
Are you unshakable?
I'm very much shooken. I am a salad shaker. Last question
Can I ask
of the episode.
it?
Sure.
How to manage being a people pleaser and a boss girl.
Oh wait, I misinterpreted this question. I thought it was how to, I mean, this is how it was wrote, but I thought it was how to manage being a people pleaser / boss girl, like teacher's pet, like boss's girl. I think your interpretation is better.
No, I think they're people pleaser, but they're also a boss girl.
Oh, she's a boss ass people pleaser.
Yeah. Like,
I'm the same way.
Yeah, that's not.
That's
I don't
like me to a
think.
T.
Well,
Well, I'm also teacher's pet for anyone who listens to that.
Yeah.
But you know what I've realized actually recently about people pleasing? So, people pleasing is something I've struggled with for a lot of times, and I wanted to kick that habit. And something that helped me kick the habit was reframing my view of people pleasing. But I realized it's actually it can be a selfish, egotistical kind of framework to work off of.
That's all it is.
Because at the end of the day, a lot of it is caring about how you're perceived. It's caring about like what other people think of you. And it kind of goes back to my conversation just now about becoming unshakable. Like, you are so shakeable if you are moldable to how other people perceive you and what other people think about you. So instead of like choosing that route, I just think it's better to, you know, come from it from a less like self-viewing, self-serving kind of perspective.
Yeah, people pleasing. I think I'm a people pleaser too.
I think everyone in healthcare, like, we go into it somewhat.
I'm not a boss girl.
You're a boss boy.
At least in the context of my work, kind of where I will be a people pleaser is I have to work with a few different psychiatrists. A lot of the times I'm making clinical recommendations and kind of, you know, helping fine-tune patients' medications. But sometimes the psychiatrist is doing something I don't agree with. And I have a really tough time telling them that sometimes because I'm like, oh, well, like, I don't want to like give them a hard time, then they won't like me, and then they like won't want to listen to other things. I think a lot of that is my ego kind of wanting to be liked, and sometimes you have to be able to put that on the side, especially in healthcare, to make sure that you're putting the patients first. But I love when people like me.
Yeah, no, we are very much people pleasers. Like it's hard. But I think that's why our advice is valid.
Yeah.
Also, you know something that I've realized, this is like a two-folded answer. I have two things to say about this. One is that I've realized too that people pleasing everyone that you meet, it can actually come across actually as a little bit like disingenuous or like inauthentic, because if you are absolutely trying to please everyone that you meet and do everything right, then like who are you really, right? Like whoever is listening, whoever's watching this right now, you have to think stuff and feel things that go against the grain of what other people out there, like there's so many different ways to live life, you know? And so I think the best way to live a life that's most authentic to yourself is you're gonna have to rock the boat a little bit. People are gonna have to be unhappy with what you're doing. If they are, that's a sign that you're doing something right, because that means that you're following your own path. Another thing with this is I think like we said, being liked, it's so natural. Like, we're two schmutzes trying to be liked. We love being liked. The thing is, I think that the core of wanting to be liked is a survival mechanism. It goes back to like the cave ages. We wanted to like be in a group, right? Because there was safety in numbers. So if you look at that needing to be liked as a safety perspective, I think you can remind yourself there's other ways I can get safety. It doesn't have to be, we're not in the caves anymore, I don't need everyone to like me. Instead, remind yourself I am safe, I have a roof over my head, I am like in school, I have a great job, I have great friends, I have great family, I have a support system. Remind yourself of all the reasons why you are safe in this moment and why you're gonna be okay, and that might help eliminate the need to feel like you need to rely on this one person to really like you.
Yeah, there's probably some people out there that no one likes them.
Yeah. And you don't like other people,
yeah,
right?
And if at least one person likes you, you're doing something right for someone.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind, that, you know, it could be worse. A lot more people could not like you. I think I used to really kind of like, if I found out someone like didn't like me or something, I would be like, oh, what is it about me? And, you know, the thing is I'm not everyone's favorite flavor ice cream. Putting, you know, a ton of effort into trying to make those people like you probably is going to make them like you less.
You know what? You actually just, as you were talking, I was actually thinking of this too. So think of like the top like 3 or 4 friends and family that love you, right? They love you for who you are. Are you gonna betray them and turn into someone else just to please some other arbitrary person? No, right? Like, you wanna stick to who you are because like you love your friends and family that love you for who you are. Like, don't change for anyone else. Like, just stay the same and yeah.
Stay golden, pony boy. That's...
What's that from?
That's from The Outsider. One of my coworkers today revealed to me that she has never seen the movie Dude, Where's My Car?
I didn't know that was a car. I mean, I didn't know that was a movie.
Jesus, what is happening? It was like an Ashton Kutcher movie.
Girls
love Ashton Kutcher.
No, I just know Ashton Kutcher as Mila Kunis's. Side note, I love Mila Kunis so much. She's so cute.
Mm-hmm. Did you know Ashton Kutcher's real name is Chris?
No, why is his name Ashton then?
I don't know, that's a stage name.
Really? What would your stage name be?
Ashton.
Ashton Kutcher. I'm Mila Kunis. Anyways, that's been Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher answering your chief complaints. Thank you so much, you guys, for listening. I hope you guys have a good Friday morning. I hope this helped out anyone in need. And yeah, let me know if you guys enjoyed this episode. Please leave a review on Apple Podcasts or a rating on Spotify. We've been going through a dry spell. We haven't had a new review in a while, so please, please, please leave one. You guys know, the OG listeners know, I like to read these as bedtime stories for Jimmy before bed. So leave us a new bedtime story.
They help me go to sleep.
Not
Just
like that.
kidding. When they're really good, I actually stay up all night thinking about them.
Yes. Anyways, that is all we have for this week. We will see you guys on Tuesday. Bye!
Bye!